So what actually happens when the anxious party stops trying? Hi, I'm Amy and welcome back to my channel. A super warm welcome if you're new here. I'm a certified attachment style coach and I help anxious attachers break the cycle of avoidant and emotionally unavailable partners so that you can really thrive in your independence and prevent future heartbreak. And in this video, we're going to talk about what happens when the anxious party in a relationship with a avoidant partner, what happens when the anxious partner stops trying. So let's get into it. So those of you that have known me for a while will know that I was in a 7-year on and off relationship with a dismissive avoidant partner. I would class myself as insecure, previously anxiously attached, and the dynamic in that relationship was, there was a very specific pattern in this relationship. So I'm going to go through with you what that pattern actually was and what happened when I stopped trying to fix the relationship. The pattern was that we would break up and 99% of the time it was him that had broken up. He would pull away. That would trigger chasing mode in me. I would do whatever it took to get that relationship back on track. He would agree and we would go into this cycle over and over again, and tell you guys it was absolutely exhausting. And I found myself taking full emotional responsibility for that relationship. And also, and it sent me into kind of like an obsessive micromanagement of the relationship. I wanted to make sure he was okay because, as long as he was okay, he wasn't going to leave. I was careful about what I said. Am I going to say this the right way so that it doesn't come across as a criticism? And this went on for 7 years. And, we had several breakups through that 7 years. Some were long, some were short. I honestly cannot remember how many times that happened. I would do whatever it took to get the relationship back on track. So I will give you an example. If there was a conflict, the likelihood was that he would threaten to end the relationship, or when he lived here would threaten to leave. So I would go into people pleasing and codependency, where all my needs were brushed aside in order to meet his. And I learned exactly what to say and exactly what to do to make this go away and to smooth it over, until I just got sick of doing it. And when I got sick of doing it, when I stopped actually making the effort and stopped trying, the relationship ultimately fell apart. So, my ex said that he was leaving, and that is ultimately what happened. I literally got sick of trying. I was so exhausted. I was so tired. And to be honest, the whole relationship pattern had made me feel real contempt and resentment towards him, because I was not getting my needs met. My needs for connection weren't being met. My needs for presence wasn't being met. It started to have an impact on me physically. I was waking up super tired and I couldn't understand why, and I felt worried all the time. My anxiety was through the roof and I was struggling mentally. I was afraid to bring things up because, if there was a conflict, then he would threaten to leave, and then I would have to make it all right, and then it would be an exhausting 2 or 3 days to try and get things back on track again. And it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. When you are in a relationship with somebody that you can't have a conversation about something that's upset you, if it is that their first reaction is that, oh, well, we're not compatible, so I'm leaving, you're in the wrong relationship, guys. And I can tell you there is so much better out there for you than that. So when I stopped trying to fix what was unfixable, what turned out to be unfixable, the relationship deteriorated and came to an end permanently. Although this is what I've been frightened of, I'd been utterly terrified of this relationship ending. I really, in the past had thought, I can't survive without this relationship. I need this relationship. I need him. I love him so much that I can't, no one compares to him. When it actually came to an end, it was quite relieving, because I could see the benefits of the relationship ending, and I continue to see the benefits of the relationship ending. I feel healthier, I feel better, I have a much better relationship with myself. I know myself better, I can advocate for my needs a lot better, I know what my boundaries are. And guys, these are all the gems that you will discover when you can step out of this relationship and when you can go no contact, because you're not going to heal with this person. I thought that I could. I thought that, oh, if I try and heal my attachment style in the relationship, it might influence him. It might make him think about his. And it did for a short period of time. But ultimately, they're not going to change unless they want to. Although it was a breadcrumb of hope at the time, it soon became clear that that wasn't going to happen. If it was that, he was actively working on his attachment style, of course, I would have given him time and patience. But when it is that you are constantly being breadcrumbed and nothing is changing, it's very difficult to stay present with that person. It's very difficult to have patience with somebody who isn't actually putting their words into action. So if it is that you're wondering, oh, what's going to happen when I stop people pleasing this person? What's going to happen when I stop meeting this person's needs and ignoring my own? The chances are that your relationship's going to fall apart, and it should, because you deserve to have a relationship with somebody who wants to know what your needs are, somebody who really wants to meet them and wants to make sure that they show up as supportive for you, and you with somebody else as well. You have the chance to be with somebody where you're in sync, where it's easy, where it's seamless, where you can resolve conflict in a really reasonable way, which you're not going to be able to do in these kinds of relationship dynamics. So I hope you found that video helpful. If you did and you like this content, please consider subscribing to this channel and leaving this video a like so that other people have access to it. But I'm Amy, and it's an absolute pleasure to help you improve your self-worth, and I will see you in the next video.